So we're going to do a piece of paper, ready? I'm not giving you a copy of last year's exam, so you're recording that. Drake, if you choose not to record that, then you choose not to distract the guy sitting behind you.
He's asking me how to do it.
The guy sitting behind him, Zach, listen carefully. We're going to go through these as quickly as we can. But let me remind you again, distractions are not appropriate. You look at the exam. Will you get a copy of this? No. Will it change for it next week? Yes. Do we know when the 6-hour exam is? Yes. A few of us already talked. It's in that part of the exam where you have to be, in the schedule where you have to be very careful. You can start the video on this already. If you have it going, I'm going over here, you can record this. Exam schedule is here. To the 6-hour exam, you can come early or stay late, but the 6-hour usually gets the short version of that because I believe it's a 10-minute passing period, restroom, hydration, but you can do that and get here early. Right after this, we have our Christmas devotion and then Christmas dinner sponsored in the banquet hall of this school, which is right next to the auditorium, field house, student event center, chapel. We're in the gym, so we're going there. I'm heading there right away for devotion and lunch. I will be back here soon after that. So if you're in 6th hour, listen carefully. I'll be back here after I get the opportunity to enjoy a Christmas dinner, lunch. All right? It's kind of tough, but that's what it is for that slot of the schedule. While I'm here, this is applicable to all the classes, pencil and paper, traditional events, TI grapher. There's no other devices around, and yes, you can bring a theorem sheet, you can check in early, you can stay late, either or both. My definition of no matter where this falls is plus or minus 15. You can't leave second hour to get here early. Right, just so you understand that. Within the basic constraints, that one's a tough one. Okay? If you have questions while I was over there. So I'm up here. Let's look at the exam. Your basic questions would be, bless you, we will slow down and we can get some examples, but really Monday is all about, let's go through examples very carefully. We'll pause a little bit here, but primarily is to show you the scope of the whole thing. Your other question would probably be how many problems, and I would say, well, you're going to see roughly 50 problems on every one of my algebra exams over the past 10 years, roughly 50. They're different each year based on where we are and also what kind of assessment took place right before this. Now, since we just went through graphing of section 3.7, it's probably not going to be a big picture here, so don't expect that we're going to do more of the same. I think yesterday was close enough. We have an idea of your ability to graph. So let's get started. You can look at the specific problems, and I can kind of give you a time stamp. They roughly go from August until now. They are roughly in chronological order. Every once in a while I pause and I throw in a good old fun arithmetic problem like, would you please add together 40 plus 40? And I'm hoping you find that enjoyable, relaxing, and confidence building. So let's get started. Order of operations will be your trigger point. Most of the directions here are intended to be student friendly and to kind of snap you into, oh yeah, give you a thought to begin with. Everything is numerical. There might be more than one way to do these, but be ready for that. You'll see that back in August, early September, maybe the first test. Something, well, that could be identical. Number 2, substitution. After I use the word substitution, then I'm also giving you kind of a different phrase of the same thing. Evaluate these for the given value of the variable. So I'm asking you to take that 5, plug it in, simplify. If you ask me about what that direction means on test day, I'd have to politely say, well, we can't explain that now. What's given is given. That should be a part of your prep. So take the 7 and plug it in. I'll ask you to watch for this expression right here and other expressions like it. So it's negative a squared. Only the a is being squared. I'll just tell you that. And that shows up a few times. I would say the same thing to my calculus team, because putting, substituting into stuff like this is tough for all math people, myself included. Okay, we go on to the third section. It's a 4-pack here. It's under the title of solve each equation. Give simple, exact answers when possible. And you're looking at linear equations. The variable appears except for this one, the variable appears in 2 places. Okay, so go back and review that. Linear equations. Go to the bottom. Kind of like a science math class together. This formula doesn't really apply in any place that I know, but the instruction is something like you would do in a science math class. Solve for x. But here's the other description. Undo all operations until x is isolated, which also means make x lonely. Get x by itself. So there it is. Let's talk about this one. I'll zoom in on it and I'll get my finger out of there. How do you get x by itself? More than one way to get it done, but we'll go ahead and go with Zach.
Add 24t to both sides.
You could add 24t to both sides. That's one of the options. After that,
Divide the whole thing by 4.
divide the whole thing by 4. And that means divide both sides by 4. Good? You have x by itself, and there should be some cleanup over here. Now, you're all set? If you want to explore, this is the time to explore. You know, people like you might ask, on my first step, could I subtract 4x from both sides? It's doable. It's legal. You could follow through with that. Well done, leader Zach. Arithmetic problem.